Hi, my name is Jason Young, and if you've been around this channel, you know that I used ice baths about a year ago to cure my depression. And the whole story started with wrestling ending, me being stuck in college with 2 months left, and I just felt trapped there. Like I lost this brotherhood of like people in my social life just all ended with the season, and I just fell into this really negative, bad place of just study, sleep classes, and it felt like a prison. So I started using ice baths, and I have a whole series talking about and documenting my adventure with that. Highly recommend checking it out. But I found this other video talking about ice baths and depression, the link between them, and I figured I would react to it. So let's give it a shot.
That's the little thing. I will tell you this: the first time we got into it, the cold plunge hits different. I was like, "Oh, this is spicy. This is spicy compared to sitting in ice."
It is it's like wind chill. It's like going to Chicago and someone telling you the temp there compared to like Denver.
Yeah.
And you get that moving water. There's no place to hide in that. It's like an assault bike compared to a Peloton bike. You are fully immersed. There's no thermal barrier that's coming around you.
Yep.
Something we hear a lot. We hear a lot about that.
So what I really wanted to hear from your point of view, and I have my own thoughts, which I won't dive into, but man, what's your experience? There's a ton of benefits, and we can get to those. But specifically, what is your experience, and what are your thoughts with this assisting with people dealing with anxiety and depression?
I put that as the top benefit that sits here with the cold plunge, and I wouldn't have said that when we launched the company.
Nor would I have. But I agree.
I absolutely have to agree with that. It's the combination of the cold, but it's also the combination of making time for yourself, getting out there, switching up your environment. For me, I highly recommend doing it out in nature. I found a local stream that was at the bottom of a dam and didn't freeze over. I mean, you can go to the ocean, you can just fill up your tub, but it was like sitting there, giving myself 5 minutes, focusing on my breathing, getting back into my body, getting out of my head, and it was like this freedom, which is why I think it helped me so much. Because as I was telling you, I felt trapped. There's so much up in my head, studying, doing engineering, analyzing stuff, optimizing things, doing my senior year, finishing up classes, and I just hated it. I absolutely hated going to school. I only did it so I could do the wrestling, but after the wrestling ended, I was like, I got 2 months left of this, and the ice baths really just got you out of your head.
Agree with you.
It has been the most consistent and the highest, like most what we hear is that.
Yeah.
And it's the most consistent of the individual. People have different things. Some people have nervous system regulation. Some people have sleep issues. Some people have immunity system. And that, the plunge is going to get into that. And however, we all have the human condition of anxiety. We all suffer, mood dynamics matter for all of us. Whether we're talking on one side of the spectrum of like real depression to, me in the morning, I'm tired. My bodies can be sluggish and I need that jolt. So it varies in that realm, but like the anxiety, mental health side.
I have done cold plunges in the morning. I've done them at night. I've done them when you do them 300 times, 360 times or more, you do them every point of the day. And what I can say, honestly, is morning it's overhyped. I mean, the one benefit I'll give you with doing it in the morning is you get it out of the way. And if you don't know if you'll be able to make it into your schedule later on, you don't know if you're going to push it off, do it in the morning. Just get it done. I would do the cold plunge and then sit in my hot car and I would drive into school and I'd use that as my time to warm up. But if right now, what I like doing is I'll do it as a transition. So from once I'm done with my morning chores, I'll take my cold plunge, then I'll shower, and then I'll get started on my day. I kind of use it as a transition between like chores to more now it's sit down, be disciplined, and I mean, everyone's different, but you're gonna experiment with this. But definitely, you have to learn how to fit it into your schedule because that's such a big thing they don't tell you about. You sit in a cold plunge for 4 minutes, it's gonna take you 15 minutes to warm back up. Like you will have to put on so many layers of clothing, it's gonna take a long time. I would have my car cranked up to over 100 degrees and sit in that for half an hour to warm up from going into the cold plunge for about 8 to 10 minutes every day. You can use warm showers. And I say warm showers because if you go hot on the water, you can risk nerve damage, which is far worse than it's not worse than depression, but it's far worse than being cold. And how that happens is you have low circulation of the blood in your extremities and your toes, and then you expose them to really hot water, and you wind up like burning the tissue. And what happens is it swells up, and it becomes like this itch that you just want to take a pair of scissors and like just carve the bone. Like you want to scratch the bone with them, but they're so sensitive and painful. And I had this in my feet, and I had to go on these super strong steroids to get the swelling down so that I could actually walk. And then I was on the steroids for so long that once I came off them, I had steroid withdrawal. And it was a cream, not any like oral thing, but my skin just started looking all weird and like dry and cracked, and it's just horrible. This whole thing could have been avoided if I just warmed up slower. So always err on the side of caution. Slowly warm that shower up if you do go in a shower. I don't recommend going in a tub. That is too much direct contact with warm water. A sauna is good, a steam room is good, a jacuzzi is horrible. Do not use a jacuzzi after a cold shower. I mean, you can go in the cold and jump in the jacuzzi. Even be careful with that because it's just the low circulation. You're not used to the switch between the two, especially for people that don't have very developed limbic systems. I think that's the limbic system, which does the blood circulation in the extremities.
Is like truly remarkable what we hear. And it is foolproof that you are going to get that every single time. And there's something really going on there. And I think, Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about it so eloquently, but it's like, at the end of the day, you're getting a rush of dopamine, and there's different levels of how we can receive dopamine. We are dopamine addicts in this world today.
Yeah.
Like we can chase dopamine on our Instagram. We can chase dopamine and we can get it in an immediate cycle, whether through a drug, whether through.
I think it's really funny he brings up Instagram here because it's like the same self-control that it takes to walk into that freezing cold water or sit down in it. That same feeling of pushing through is extremely similar to what it takes to get out of a scroll state. Like once you're scrolling TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, you just get into this state of like you don't want to leave. Like it's that ability to pull yourself away, pull yourself back to what you should be doing, pull yourself back into the moment. It's like that same will to do it is what it takes to do the cold plunge and what actually helps you a lot. Some people call it derping, but it's like when you go unconscious to your habits and you have bad habits and you're just doing them, you might be eating junk food, you might be like just continuing eating after you're already full. And it's that same energy, the same willingness to get out of it that cold plunges really help with.
Food, whether through media, entertainment, it's there. We get hits of it all the time. The cool thing about cold plunging is it has a dopamine type hit of similar to cocaine. I mean, we're talking 250, 300%. But here's the difference. You don't get the swing effect.
Yeah.
There is a trade-off of taking in dopamine at certain costs of drug, kind of empty entertainment, that you get the hit slight.
So right there, when he talks about the trade-off, what this is the idea there's no free lunch. You pay with caffeine by being more tired after you crash. You pay with nicotine by being more irritable and lower dopamine after the hit. With the ice baths, you kind of it's a weird way of looking at it, but like you pay up front. So it's the uncomfort, it's the pushing through that you do up front. And then you have all this dopamine on the back end, and it just lasts a very long time. It's quite a high. It's really amazing. I love ice baths, but same with exercise. Like say you run 5 miles. Afterwards, you're gonna feel great. You're gonna feel absolutely amazing. But like you have to think of it, you're kind of paying your dues at the start in order to enjoy this much longer payoff. And because this is a natural high, natural, I don't want to say like other things like nicotine aren't natural because that's in tobacco. That might not be the way I want to classify it, but it's like a high you get through your own willpower, your own pushing through. Like you deserve it, kind of. It's not like undeserved high, like just smoking a cigarette. And because of that, there's much more dopamine you get from it than those other activities.
Hits, but there's a trade-off. You're going to swing low, and you kind of yo-yo between it. Where cold plunging, you get this immediate hit, but it doesn't drain you like these other forms of dopamine inputs can take, which I think is really powerful. And you show it over consistent time, and they've shown this, is you could actually raise your baseline dopamine levels. Well, what is dopamine? Dopamine is the precursor to focus, motivation, like these terms that we talk about, like I feel more capable, I feel more like I want to go after something. We use these, you hear it all the time in cold plunging. That's how we talk about it. But what's happening is your body's getting dopamine, and that's a signal. That is truly what's happening with the body. So from the mental health side, like that is consistent. That is every single time. If you get in a cold plunge and your breath gets taken away and you ride through that.
The other thing I want to bring up is if you do this safe, if you do it with a buddy, if you're in decent physical shape, again, do your own research, talk to your own doctors. There is no huge negative side effects to it. You don't have to worry, is this drug going to give me like kidney issues? Like you look at modern medicine and it's like a giant list, death-like symptoms. Like what? Like I'm taking this, like, I get that being depressed is horrible, but some of the pills that they'll give you bring up symptoms, and then those symptoms are going to get treated by other pills that are going to have more symptoms. And it's like this whole thing of like, how much can we bill you for each cycle? And it's when you try to get to the cause of the issue, when you work on natural solutions, when you treat the underlying condition instead of the symptom itself, you wind up not having these nasty side effects.
Moment and can calm that heart rate and get to a signal, whether it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever that is for your body, you are getting that increase in dopamine and energy levels that are more substantial than a great cup of coffee, but without the lag that's going to come after. Right. We're talking a sustained.
You never feel more jacked until you get out of an ice bath. Like, I don't know what it is, but like somehow the fat on you shrinks and the muscles just start bulging. You're like, ah! You just feel huge. You look huge. You look great after an ice bath. So For everyone wanting to get new social media picks up for the summer, give it a try. Subscribe to see more of my content, see more systems. I'm giving this reaction type video where I'm talking about other people's stuff a try. Let me know what you think in the comments, and see you next time.